Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm very pleased and honored to be present with you today at this first edition of Logic Apps Community Day, which is organized by Microsoft. Super excited to be present with you today. I'm going to talk about a subject that I found always interesting, which is related to data integration in D365 FinOps with Azure Logic Apps. For those who don't know what is exactly Azure Logic App, it's like Power Automate, but we are not talking about the same products, but they have the same objective. It can help you to automate tasks, automate flows, and synchronize data between different systems. I will start first by talking a little bit about data integration concept, because as we say always data integration, but do we really know what is exactly data integration concept? So I will talk a little bit about this concept, and after that I will show you how we can integrate data in D365 via using Azure Logic App. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Adnan Dali. I'm a D365 FinOps technical architect. I'm working with Agile Consulting. We are one of the gold partners based in Paris. We are a cloud expert and D365 deployment expert as well. We are based in Paris. I have, during my experience, I had the opportunity to work on different international projects between Europe and Africa as well. I'm super excited about everything related to enterprise architectures, multi-cloud, Microsoft, and even other technological stacks. Also, I'm a blogger, so I have a blog, theinvision365.com, so don't hesitate to visit my blog. Sometimes I'm sharing some nice articles about data integration subjects with D365 FinOps and other tools as well. In parallel of my job as a technical architect, I'm preparing my PhD, so on big data management and smart cities application. And so yeah, this is my first time being with you here in this version of Azure Logic App Aviators Day. So yeah. The agenda for today, we're going to start by a quick introduction about Azure Logic, about our data integration concept. Because we say always data integration, but in this slide, I will show you why it matters, why it's important to have a data integration strategy at the enterprise level, and how we can achieve a successful data integration scenario in D365. After that, I will start give a quick introduction about Azure Logic App and why we have to consider it as a real data integration tool, as a strategic lever at the enterprise level. After that, I will show you some data integration capabilities of Azure Logic App and how you can integrate data in D365 FinOps via using Azure Logic App. And I will show with you some use cases if you are maybe you are using or facing one of those scenarios in D365 FinOps. So don't hesitate to use Azure Logic App. It can help you to achieve this kind of scenario to integrate and exchange data with FinOps and any other systems. After that, I will end my presentation with a quick technical demonstration. I will show you how we can build a data integration flow scenario for D365 FinOps. I will show you how we can export expenses data from D365 FinOps into an Azure Blob storage via using Azure Logic App. And finally, we will conclude by some key benefits on some best practices and quick recommendations that you have to respect if you are working on a data integration scenario with D365 FinOps. So data integration, let me start by this slide by a quick statistic that I found really, really important. There is a study that have been released last year's talking about data integration tools. This study have been released by McKinsey & Co. And they say that the companies that have a data integration strategy deployed inside their information system in their company, the study says that those companies who have developed also this cultural shift, this awareness inside their company, they say that those companies are 64% more efficient than any other companies who don't have this who don't have a data integration strategy deployed inside their company. So why I'm sharing with you this statistic, because it's really important to show why it's matter really to have this cultural shift, this data integration awareness inside our companies. So the first point, data integration equals unified financial data, especially when we talk about D365 FinOps, which is considered as a hub of financial data when and especially when we say FinOps, when the data is playing here a crucial role, a major role to define the progress of our information system. The second point, why we are taking those, why we need those information, because in my opinion, the ERP is not an isolated tool. It's a tool that making part of a whole framework of data, and the ERP have to share with data in a daily manner with different systems such as sales, procurement. Data are coming from various sources. So why we have to store this data to one main goal is to take strategic decisions. So that's why it's very, very important to have an automated flows that can help us to exchange data in a daily manner between D365 FinOps and any other different system. The third point, we are facing a huge market opportunity. There is a study that have been realized by ReporterLink that expects the market of data integration tools is expected to reach $90 billion in 2026 and about $40 billion in less than 10 hours. So this really show why it is important to have this cultural shift inside our company to develop a data integration strategy, and also show that all big IT companies with Microsoft as well, they continue introducing and make our life more easy to integrate data and exchange with the different systems by introducing, for example, Microsoft Copilot, more artificial intelligence tool in the 365 products. So all these points are make us convinced to choose Azure Logic App as a real data integration tool, as a strategic level and enterprise level, which is a full cloud tool, an integration service, fully hosted in cloud, in Azure cloud. For me, the strong points of Azure Logic App, it's extensive connectors. Here we are talking about more than 800 data connectors pre-built in the tools. You don't need to install any add-ons, so everything is included in the system. Also, it's very another strong point, which is it's offering a rich visual designer. It's like Power Automate. Easy to use, a user-friendly interface, so you can easily start creating your data flow, drag and drop actions, design your data flow easily. Another important point is version control, because as his name indicates, so Azure Logic App, so Azure Logic App is making part of the whole Azure services, so you can create an Azure DevOps pipelines, release pipelines to build your Azure Logic App and deploy it into different Azure subscriptions or even different Azure tenants. The good thing also with Azure Logic App, Microsoft actually is offering this Azure Logic App via 2 model, so you can create consumption Azure Logic Apps or standard Logic App to ensure maximum of flexibility and features. For example, if you need more features, advanced features, prioritize to use Azure Logic App standard. And unlock the power of data integration. This is very important, and personally, I'm using Azure Logic App for data migration project. For example, as you know, in D365 FinOps, we need to export data, expenses data entities. So Azure Logic App can help you to achieve this kind of scenario and achieve real-time data integration and synchronization between different systems. A new announcement, Microsoft has added a new tool. As you know, Azure Logic App is designed to automate actions, the data flows, but Microsoft have introduced a new tool, which is still in preview. Azure Logic App new data mapper tool. If you are working, for example, we want to exchange the source of your data. If you have, for example, source file as an XML and you want the target file to be another different format, so you can use data mapper to create data transform data mapping tool in your data integration scenarios. So data integration capabilities, as you know, in D365 FinOps, Microsoft have created recently, I think about 2 years now, or 3 years, have introduced the business events. So for those who don't know what is business events, it's like business actions that that happen inside D365 FinOps, and you can call them externally from third-party applications as a Logic App or any other external application. The good thing that you can use those business events in Azure Logic App. In Azure Logic App, you have a dedicated data connector pre-built in the tool, so you can use it. You really don't need to any extra setup. So you can just drag and drop it and use it via, and it supports auto authentication to connect directly to all your D365 instance. This data connector can be used as a business event if you are, for example, approved a new, for example, created a new payment journal and approved this journal. So you can create a Logic App that can be triggered just after a business event occurred in the system, triggered in the system. Or you can use it as an action, if you want to execute, for example, or to call an API action. It supports also CRUD, create, update, delete actions. For the use cases for D365 FinOps, as you know, Microsoft have introduced business events. The good thing is all those business events exist on all D365 modules. You can find us in sales, purchase, vendor, customer. So you can call those business events in your Azure Logic App. It supports create, update, delete operations. Just one point is this list is not really a final list. It's just not exhaustive list. This is just kind of sharing with you some most frequently scenarios that you can some use cases that you can use if you are working on Azure Logic App. Import data and export data, those are one of the most common used data integration scenarios, because as you know, FinOps we need to continue to share data with sales or any procurement tool. So we can achieve this kind of scenario in D365 FinOps to import and export our data entities. Just after this slide, I will show you how we can export expenses data entity from D365 into Azure Blob Storage via using Azure Logic App. Azure Logic App, for example, can help you to achieve the scenario of data synchronization between D365 and any other systems. For example, if you are working on a scenario that you have, for example, D365 FinOps, and you have, I don't know, Salesforce or any other different technological tool, and you want to exchange or synchronize data between these two systems. So Azure Logic App is here for you and can help you to achieve this kind of scenarios. So let's go for a quick technical demonstration. I will show you. So the demonstration, it will be about how we can export data entities from D365 into blob storage via using Azure Logic App. The first thing that you have to start with is you have to create a data import in your D365 environment. Let me just share with you the data import that I've created here in data imports project. Okay. Data management. So here I've created a data export project. So it's classical task. You can create. You have to start by creating a data export project. Here in my project your project have to support generating data package. So you have to check this this option. And here I'm trying to export, I'm exporting expenses data. And the source of my data, or the final result of my export, is going to be an CSV file. So it's a classical step that you have to start with. So here I'm creating my export project. So now here I will back to my Azure Logic App. As you know, Azure Logic App, there is two type of actions. The first one, which is trigger events. This is the first step that can trigger your data flow, your workflow. So here I'm using a recurrence, so that I want, for example, that my data flow going to be executed one time per day. After that, here I'm trying initializing a new variable, because as you know, the goal of this scenario is to call an import, to call an export data project. But when we start an export or an import, there is a data job batch behind, and this data batch have an execution ID. So here I'm initializing a new variable, DMF execution ID, and giving this variable an automated generated value. So here I'm affecting this value into this variable. Just after that, I'm exporting my data package. Sorry, my data package. I'm calling I'm using here the D365 FinOps data management definition group API, and using export to package API. This option is checking this two information. You have to call your data export project. This is the name of my export project, and execution ID, which contain the value of ID that I've initialized here. After that, I'm making a condition. So when the result of the output of this action is going to be an ID, and here I'm checking if this ID have been initialized or not. So after that, I'm checking if it is true. That's what I want, that the value have been initialized and the data job have been created with the ID that they have assigned it to the DMF execution ID. And here I'm starting. I will start. The result of this step is getting me is to get an export package URL. And after that, I will download this package URL here via HTTP GET method. And the output of this method is going to be a zip file. And here I'm creating the zip file. I'm creating the zip file in my Azure Blob storage. With the contents of my the contents of my blob is going to be the output of the HTTP action. And after that, I'm sending an email, hello, the expense export have been succeeded or not. So I can run the trigger, and the result of this trigger is going to be an email, succeeded or not succeeded. It's going to take a little bit, some few minutes, but we can continue the slide. The result is going to be an email like this. So I've already prepared this for you. I'm going to receive an email like this. It's expense export have been succeeded. Okay, so that was a quick technical demonstration. Let's go back to our slide. Some key benefits that you have to consider if you are using Azure Logic App as a data integration tool with D365 FinOps. For me, the strong point is seamless integration with D365 FinOps, because really you don't need to install any add-on or extra add-on in your Azure Logic App to use the data integration. The D365 data connector in your Azure Logic App. It's fully integrated with the tool, pre-built in the tool. It can be used as a trigger event or data or an action in your Azure Logic App. Another, for me, I repeat it again, the strong point is extensive data connectors. We can use Azure Logic App for a data migration project. If you are, for example, want to migrate data from an on-premise, for example, EX 2012 system, and you want to migrate data into D365, so you can use Azure Logic App in this kind of scenarios. Synchronize data between CRM, for example, or customer engagements, or D365 FinOps. So really it's designed for this kind of scenario. Business events as well. So it's connected to all D365 FinOps business events. Microsoft is continuing improving, adding new business event. This is very important. Another good important point is scalability. So Microsoft is offering Azure Logic App via two different models, consumption or standard. If you want, for example, if your scenario, you are having, for example, big data scenarios, and you want to exchange data with different technological stacks, different tools. So Azure Logic App is here for you and support this kind of scenarios. The last slide, some key best practices. For example, if you are working on a data integration scenario with D365 with FinOps, with Azure Logic App, the first point or the first recommendation is try to give more time to understand your data model requirements, because I think most of clients think directly about the technological tool, the technological challenges, which I think it's normal. But for me, the most important thing is try to understand your data model, try to understand and give more time to know about what is your data source and data targets. Try to search, for example, if there is any standard data entity existing in D365 FinOps before using a custom one. Things that you have to respect when you are trying to import or export via using data entities in FinOps, that you have to respect the data format, the source data format have to respect the target format. You have to have validated data, the same type, the same mapped data, so you don't have to map, for example, I don't know, field A with field B. So if you are not really respecting those things, you're gonna receive an error if you are while exporting or importing data in Azure Logic App. So this is very, very important. The second point, try to think about data frequency, because here we are talking about pay-as-you-go Azure Logic App. So you pay only the executed actions that you have already in your Azure Logic App. Think about data frequency, because you have to choose the correct event trigger of your data flow. Try to ask question with your clients if you need a business event, if you need a manual trigger event, if you need which type of event trigger you want to implement in your Azure Logic App. The third point, implement CI/CD. This is very important, and one of the best practices is try to create different type of Azure Logic App. Well, as any D365 development, we have three types, for example, of environments: dev, test, and production. Try to do the same thing with your Azure Logic App. Create three types of Azure Logic App. Each type is hosted in different Azure resource group, and after that, it's going to be easy to you to later to have an idea about the cost, and and if you want, for example, to deploy your Azure Logic App, it's going to be more easy to deploy it in a different type of environments. So don't hesitate to create build pipelines, release pipelines to deploy your IRM templates behind your Azure Logic App. The last point, prioritize standard Logic Apps. For example, if you have a scenario you want to connect with on-premise systems, so try to use Azure Logic App. It's standard Azure Logic App, which offer more features, advanced features. If you want, for example, to communicate with bank server files, And we know that, for example, this kind of systems are secured, and in this case, it's recommended to create or to use standard logic app, which give you the opportunity to create and to have, for example, a private IP addresses. And after that, the the IT bank team can whitelist those addresses and exchange data in a secure manner. This is just an example of many other features that Azure Logic App standard can give you the opportunity to achieve. It's designed also to handle higher volume of data and transactions with more advanced capabilities. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, so don't hesitate to ask me, and we will be more happy to answer your questions. Thank you.